fancy. Looks like we have some frozen weather out here. I think there's even ice on the pond. See if we can see it. Yeah. It's melted around the edges. Interesting. Huh. I see that on here there's also ice. You can tell when it's not melting. Let's go in the sun. It'll be warmer there. I was thinking maybe I should put this chair out in the front for the cats. Yeah? I am. Okay. I think I'll put this out there because I think it'll be warmer. They sit out there in the sun and wait to be fed. Here we sit like cats in the wilderness. Cats in the wilderness. Cats in the wilderness. Here we sit. It's okay, kitties. It's just me. Look at that. They ate all that food up already. See, they've been sitting in this chair, which doesn't have sides. This will be much warmer for them.
How's your video going?
Oh, I'm just moving the chair around. I thought it would keep the cats warmer like this. What do you think?
Yeah.
I mean, this is sort of nice and warm for them. But anyway, we'll think about that later. This other chair. And now maybe I should sit there too. I don't need to sit on this though. Ah, yes, it's a bit damp. Okay, so we'll let the sun dry it. See, it's in the shade in there and it's... Oh well, here we go. So what's been happening in your lives today? You know, I made a video this morning and I said a prayer. And when I looked up, 5 minutes had gone by. Imagine 5 minutes. And you guys were not there. Had to reconnect. So I don't know if you heard it or not. Nobody had been there by the time it was over because it kept disconnecting. Well, I really love church. It's like group therapy. It really is. You know, taught how to be happy and how to deal with certain things in our lives. It's very encouraging. I always come out feeling optimistic and hopeful and everything's going to be good. It's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I love it. I've been a member since I was 40. No, since 76. So it's 47 years. That's a long time. I remember when I first joined and people had been members like that and it was like, wow, that's a long time. I don't know if I'll ever do anything for that long. But it really settled me right down. I had to give up all kinds of stuff and put my life into order. And I've been a pretty good person ever since. I think I'm improving. Always a little room for improvement, you know. Some people have been watching my Minecraft videos. That's really cool. Not many, you know, but about as many, not as many as these, but some people watch them. And you know, I do about the same thing in there that I do here, except I can take people along and it's no trouble. Today I was showing how you can build a wall out of trees. I didn't know you could do that in there, but Daniel can do anything. I've been having fun. It's neat to be able to share. It feels like it's not wasting my time because at least I can share it with other people. And I do things in there like have a campfire and cook fish over it. I'll go fishing and I'll sit and fish for a while and watch the fire. And then I sit by the fire and cook my fish and I eat it. I mean, in the game, you run out of, whatever. Good morning. Who's talking now? Oh, look, Susan is here. And Suze. Wow, haven't seen you in a long time, Susan. And Sue, you're so awesome. Yes, we've missed you too. You were watching a couple times recently, but you didn't notice me, Nancy. I'm sorry. I did notice last time I turned off a video. I was just turning it off, and then I noticed a comment there, and I got a chance to read part of the comment, but not all of it, and I don't remember who it was from. Anyway, I'm glad you're back. I've seen Rose a bit. She's mostly over on Messenger, Facebook Messenger. And Ellen has been here lately, and Suze, and many other people be more online. And the other night I had a party. I was just having fun. I was telling stories, and I guess my stories were kind of funny. I was laughing up a storm, and everybody else, I felt like we were all having. And I'm gonna make another video last night in bed. I feel a little, I don't like to make videos when my husband is close by or my son. I mean, not that they don't mind me doing it, but I always feel a little bit odd talking to my camera while people are around. Anyway, but I'm trying to get into the habit of making them in the morning and in the evening. And then during the day when I sit down to relax, that's when I play Minecraft. I'm learning a lot doing that. Oh, there goes Saddle, I guess. Let's turn around so you can see Saddle. You see, now and then I would see these cats. Is that where he is? I would see a cat. It wasn't usually this close. Sometimes they'd be up on the hillside or over in the field. And I'd see them walking along down by the moat. See them from the house. So it's quite nice to feed them and to get to know them, see who's here. You know, they always ran when I came out, so I could never imagine that how many there were or whatever. A white cat, I just thought it was one white cat. I had no idea there was 5 cats out here. Anyway, it's fun to have a little cat family. So I'm going to try to trap, neuter, release, TNR, not thermal radiation, no, thermal nuclear radiography. Are you gonna do TNR? Huh? What is that? So I looked it up, and ChatGPT said that there's many initials that are TNR. So one of them is thermonuclear radiography. I thought that was funny. I came home, and there's papers all over the couch, and there were papers in places that I didn't think there were papers. So I thought maybe the family had come over while we were gone, but no, they hadn't. So maybe I just never noticed what they had played with yesterday and that the mess was still there. Yes, indeed. So this is a busy week. Monday, my wonderful, wonderful housekeeper comes, Ava. I am so grateful to have money to pay a babysitter. I mean, a housekeeper. She's really organizing my house. It's really awesome. I should let her organize all the papers upstairs too. That's a lot of stuff. That'll take a week of Sundays, a month of Sundays, right? So a month of Sundays is not 30 Sundays, 30 weeks in which there's a Sunday in every week, which means it would take 30 weeks. Isn't that right? Isn't that what it means to be a month of Sundays? Ellen, yes, Ellen's been back. Hi, Lori McFarlane, I know you. Nice to see you. I'm from Kamloops, British Columbia. You are. And the other girls on there, Well, Suze, you're from, is it Ohio? I get it mixed up every time. And Susan and the other girls we were talking about they're from Wisconsin. You've been crocheting along with a Dutch lady a lot lately. Hi, Skinnerd girl. Happy Sunday. Enjoy this beautiful sunny day, Nicole. Nicole, you've been here forever too. You were missing for a while, but then I was missing for a while. But it's nice when we all get back together. Yes, the other night at my party, I was writing everybody's name down in my YouTuber's book. It's so nice to have people in my book. You look under the S's, and there's like a whole page full of people whose names start with S. You know, like people who love me are my friends by default. In fact, you're my best friends because if you reject me, you just disappear. I don't even know you were here. But if you like me, you speak up. So I get to be friends with all the people that like me. Have to be careful of those trolls. We had a troll again the other day. I have to be on top of things and not respond to them, but delete them when they say things that are whatever. I don't know. Sometimes you don't know. Yes, Lori's awesome. Lori, you're from, oh, you've been here for years from New York, now transplanted in Nashville. So is that recently that you moved to Nashville? Boy, that's a big change from New York. I was in New Jersey till I was 7. I've told you that many times. But my dad got a job at the University of Georgia, and so did my mom. So away we went to Georgia, and I didn't know if it was another planet or another country. What is Georgia anyway? So we went down there, and I was called a Yankee by all the kids at school. And the phrase was always, Yankee, go home. I'm not sure if they were unkind enough to say that, but knowing school children, I suppose they were. And then I met a girl that also had red hair like me, Lisa Davis. And her whole family, there were 6 kids in the family, and they went every time they moved, which was frequently, they would all get together and go to the neighbors. They would knock on the door and ask if anybody the age of any of their kids lived there. And that's how they found us. There were 3 of us. And so there was Cindy Davis, and so my sister Cynthia, so Cindy and Cindy played together. And I played with Lisa. In fact, she was in my class in grade 3, I think. 3rd grade. That was my first year in there. Then I came to Canada years later when I was 20. And I was again called a Yankee. Yankee, go home. They didn't say Yankee, go home because I was older, and they were more polite. Canadians are known for their politeness, but there's this real irritation about Americans. Because Americans come up here and then they treat us like we don't belong. They treat us like we're not important. You know, like you go to the lake, and there'll be all these cottagers, and well, I've been coming here every year since I was a child. And, you know, it's like, so they own the place, so this is their home. And, you know, I live down the road, you know, for 26 years. Oh no, but they've been coming there their whole life. And I know that it's formative when you're little. Like I went to camp when I was under the age of 10, maybe. Well, 7, we moved there. And so I think I probably went for 3 years, 8, 9, and 10. Something like that. I went to camp for 2 weeks in the summer up in the mountains. And that place has it's so dear to my heart, which I guess is the way other people feel. There's a lot of people from Pennsylvania that like to come up to Ontario. I have no idea why. Probably because it's close and it's beautiful. And their money goes farther. Canada always keeps their dollar lower on purpose so that people will come, and tourism and, you know, trade, all that is better for us if our dollar is lower than the Americans. But when I was young, or when I first came here, it wasn't like that. Our dollar was higher. Anyway, so it's kept low now. Maybe it's been that way for a long time. You've been in there for 4 years. Work brought you there. I guess that's why people move. Often I wonder, you know, you hear that Phoenix is the fastest growing city in the United States. I loved Phoenix. It was awesome. It was always sunny and warm or hot, but it was dry. It was so nice. I just loved it. But I had to water my garden every single day, my beans. Of course, I didn't know anything about growing a garden back then. I used a fork to dig the ground because I didn't have a shovel. Well, hey there, is this Chumbles? Yes, it's Chumbles. There he is down there. He's having a hard time protecting everything from... Oh, look, there's Shadow over there hiding in the corner. Now, Chumbles, is that any way to behave? I think Chumbles is now too fat to get under the deck, which is nice for these other cats. I've never been a cat person. I'm the kind of person that is a bird person. I would meet with ornithologists every time I'd go on a press trip. Every country, every place, I'd meet with an ornithologist and I would get a tour. I saw crested caracaras in Mexico at 5 a.m. with an ornithologist. I think that's what they were called. Well, you have really upset Shadow, you know. It's not his fault he was born here. I guess cats are territorial. I understand. I'm territorial. I think we all are, right? You don't want somebody else coming in your house and you want to be in charge of things, you know. Like the cats, the door was left open today and one of the cats went all the way into the house. Boy, Willem was upset. But this is a smarter cat. This was Saddle. Now, when Tom got in the house, he ran at every window in the house, every door. We have all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stained glass doors, or 5 sliding glass doors. We only really used 3 of them. But he went running to get out. You know, he ran and banged his head onto one door, and he banged his head on another door, and he banged his head on this main door. And then finally, I opened the door, and out he went. But this one, Saddle, I've named them all. So Saddle was in there today. I guess he was probably in there eating Chumble's food and the food that spills around the bag when I reach a hand in and feed them. I've learned that if I throw it all over the deck, then everybody gets a chance. If I put it in neat piles, then the strong one pushes the other ones out of the way. You know, when raccoons argue about who's going to eat, the one that wants it takes it away from the one that's got it by backing into them. He goes in front of them and he backs right up into the other one's face. Because I guess they just don't bite each other's bodies, they bite each other's faces. Or if they do bite the bodies, they don't feel it because it's so thick. Anyway, I have my eyes closed here because I'm basking in the sun. I'm applicating. Somebody gave me some willow yesterday, some beautiful yellow willow or orange willow. I wonder if I can hold this so you can see it around the corner there. You see it? It's in a bucket by the house. Anyway, it's lovely willow and it's all rooted. So I need to take it down and plant it. Not sure just where I want to plant it. But I want to plant it because orange willow is so pretty. And in a basket, you can make stripes if you have different colors like that. Anyway. So this week I was telling you Monday Ava comes. Tuesday Willem goes to get Abe. And Daniel needs a health card. So they'll probably both go and take the car. And so my other friend, the one that gave me the willow, she's going to come over and we're going to make a basket. If she has to check her schedule, make sure today is okay or Tuesday's okay, because Monday I had to realize I couldn't do things like that. And then on Wednesday, I guess I'll go to Ottawa and visit somebody there in the hospital. If those things all work out. Car going up the hill. There are very few cars that go up the hill. But she teaches fiddle lessons up there, so there's all the fiddlers. They usually meet somewhere else, but sometimes they all have met up there. COVID time, but I guess they didn't go all the way to the top of the hill. So Willem's been out there. What happened, Zeus? Oh, bye, Sky. Skinner. It's Leonard Skinner, right? Okay, have fun at work. Nancy is feeding several strays. Good morning, Fast. Yes, I am. So there's 5 of them. There's Tom, who is the father of all. Huge face. And his head is so strong, you know. I put my hand in between him and the others when they're eating, but his head, his neck, you just can't move him over. So I just put my hand in there now so he can't move and take everybody else's food. Sounds like Shadow hears you or sees you. He's had enough. He's had enough of you hurting him. So I thought when I make baskets this time, I'm gonna make a wooden frame. I'm gonna use those mats. It's made of particle board, so you can't put it out in the rain or anything. But you really shouldn't be leaving your baskets in the rain. But one thing about baskets is that you can set them on the ground and fill them up with garden stuff without wrecking them. But if it's wet ground and it's got a particle board base. Anyway, I think you probably were here when I made those circles for throwing pottery on. I really need to do that pottery studio. I need to get it going. Wouldn't it be fun to make lots of bowls again? I really enjoyed doing that. I wish I could bring it in the house so I can do it in the winter. Like set aside part of the family room here and just throw pottery. I'd have to put plastic around it so that it doesn't get clay everywhere. But I could do that. Make a clay box. A plastic box and sit in it. Put it on the floor, put it around the corner, put it in the corner of the kitchen or the family room. We aren't going to be dehydrating things all winter. Like right now, we're still dehydrating. Willem is so gung-ho. He's such a saint. He'll go out there in the garden and he's sat there all day for 2 days, 3 or 4 days actually. He's been harvesting all those beds full of artichokes. And these are the really nice, big, long, white ones. They're not the little short red ones like I was getting when I was doing it. So he's been dehydrating them day after day. There's so much dehydrated food in the house now. It's awesome. Beans and peas and corn and artichokes and zucchini squash and even pumpkin. Remember all that pumpkin I cooked the other day? Well, Willem took it out of the shells and it was well cooked, so it was pretty well mush. But he smashed it down and then made slices of it and dehydrated them. Oh, here comes Tabby. Oops, let's turn you around so you can see him. It's under the trampoline there somewhere. Through the arm of the chair. There you go. That's Tabby. It's interesting to get to know these cats. I do begin to feel responsible for them now that I know who they are. There's been litters born and died here for years. Sometimes, one day I saw a whole bunch of cats. Boy, you are an angry kitty, aren't you, down there? There's also raccoons. Oh, here he comes. She. Hey, Tabby. Hey, kitty kitty. Did you see your new chair? That's to keep you warm in the winter. It's not perfect, but it's better than the other one. Is Shadow talking to you? Or is he talking to the raccoon baby? That baby raccoon came rushing up here to get that food the other day. Made me think of rabies. Ooh. Hey, Shadow. You may be the runt of the litter, but you're fierce. Sometimes I put food, I let it drop down between the slats because I know he wasn't eating. He wasn't part of the group. Hey, Chumbles, are you hearing this cat fight? What are you thinking about all this? I have that tire swing there. I was thinking of hanging it up there. If I hang it close enough to the house, it wouldn't be in the pathway and we'd just have to scoot the chair over. But it's a tire swing, so it just goes around. It's held together in 3 places. I could hang it there, you know? What is all that? Oh, I'm way up there. I didn't mean there. Over there. See, we have his camera up there. Yeah, my son had too many. And so we got 2 of them. It was nice. Except every time we would go outside, I'd get a message about it. And it was going to not only here, but to my daughter and my son. And I just started feeling self-conscious. So I stopped that. I guess it must be dead because I haven't seen it on. How's that light coming on right now? Isn't that interesting? I mean, what is prompting that light? It's off now. I mean, this thing is swinging a bit. Does that do it? It's the only thing out here that's moving. So we had snow one day this week, but it's melted, except on the north slopes. There's little piles here and there. Like you saw back in the shady deck, there's ice on that sheet of plastic. I put up that plastic to keep the table dry so we could still do work out there. And I don't really want to have to get snow off of all that part. But on a bad storm, it'll go everywhere anyway. It's pretty nice out there, but it's better out here when it's sunny and it's cold. If it's hot and sunny, well, you don't want to be out here, but this is a good time for it. Soon she'll have many, many cats, though. I have a kind heart. Hi, Natalie. It's true. Your hair is so pretty. Well, thank you, Ronnie. Hello to you. Yeah, I didn't curl it, but I washed it with this Tresemme, I think is the name on the bottle of the soap. Tressomme or something like that. But I don't know how to say it. Tresemme or Tresemme. I have no idea. Anyway, Willem says it. He knows French. But there's one kind that was 80% less breakage. Of course, 80% of what? Compared to what? Normal or compared to somebody whose hair all breaks off? I don't know, 80% less breakage. But then now they've changed it and it's called anti-breakage. And I tried that one and it doesn't work. So there was this other one which is called Repair. And I looked at the ingredients and it doesn't have sodium lauryl sulfate. You know, sodium lauryl sulfate causes cancer. Did you know that? It's been in the shampoo my entire life, and I've known about it since I was about 16. But nobody worries about it. Everybody still puts it in the shampoo, in everything. Well, not in everything. It's sodium lauryl sulfate is a degreaser they use on carport floors to get the stains up, the oil stains. You could use shampoo on it, just saying. Anyway, so this Tresemme had that 80% less breakage and it worked. It was really good. And then the next one was the anti-breakage, which didn't work at all. And the third one now I'm using is Repair. And that has some other ingredients in it. I think it leaves a coating on it. I hope it leaves a coating on it to keep these hairs together. But I see that there are split ends, but maybe those were already split. Anyway, and then if I don't brush it after I wash it, it does this wonderful curling thing. Actually, I just twist it and twist it and twist it and twist it and then put it up. And then later I take it down and let it dry. Oh, so you're eating the food out here now. It's not like you, Chumbles. Yes, he's cleaning up after them. I really enjoy weaving. Weaving is a really nice pastime. I'm so glad I've got all this willow. I should set up my loom. But it's hard to spin the thing now. I should put oil on it. Then I'll be able to spin it. You know, it's the big, it's a yard by a yard by a yard by a yard, and you roll it. You spin it, and then you put your yarn on it, and it goes all the way around. Hey, speaking of yarn, I was out the other day. I was going to go to the hospital, and I thought, well, in case she's gone out for a walk or whatever she has to do with people, then I could sit there and knit. But she was there, so I didn't do that. But I got a beautiful green. I don't know, is it Kelly green? No, Kelly green I think is quite dark. It's a forest green or leafy green. It's very pretty. And it's thick. It's a bulky one. But you have to be careful now. They're making blankets and yarn out of this stuff that's very, very soft, but it smells like car oil. Smells terrible. So it's just, it's just being made with the leftover yucky oil, like like they do for candles. If you use beeswax candles, they will clean the air. But if you use paraffin candles, they're toxic. You shouldn't be breathing that stuff. It'll make you cough. It's really bad for you. So on the way home from church today, I got Willem to drop me off. Hi, Brooklyn. Yes, Jesus loves you. He loves us all. Heavenly Father loves us all more than we can imagine. And you know what they say? They say that if you were the only person on earth, Jesus Christ would still have done the atonement just for you. You are not his favorite, you know. He's very upset with you whenever you come around. I feel like laying on there and putting my face down and looking at him, but we need a periscope. Do you ever have a periscope to see around corners? That would be fun to make one. So it used to be, when I remember the ones I've seen, they're in ships. They stick them up and then they can look around. So you've got a mirror in the end here. And then down at the bottom, you've got another mirror at a different angle. So you look into the bottom, and this mirror is reflecting that mirror, which is seeing what's outside. I think a periscope would be really fun to look around corners, see who's there, to look under the deck. But the deck is, there's a lot of animals that have lived under there. Have you had enough, Chumbles? You're eating everybody's stuff. Checking for leftovers. I was taking all the furniture off the deck, and I realized I was going to need a table, so I left this table here. Because otherwise everything gets on the floor and it looks like it doesn't belong. But if there's a table here, that's good. So there's a sale coming up where they're making wreaths to sell for a Christmas sale. Making grapevine wreaths with boughs stuck in them. I guess I could do that. But I don't really want to cut any branches from our trees. But you know what you could do? If you go to the dump, there's the pile of compostable materials, not compost, but you could go there and cut the boughs off of those branches. There's always stuff there. Cedar, and I guess cedar is what you really want. firs, maybe spruce. But mine are precious to me, so I'm not going to cut them, so I could take it off of stuff that's already cut. And grapevines. Grapevines are pretty easy to find. I've got all these vines right here that have climbed up into the tree. So much easier to see it all now that the leaves are gone. I wonder whatever happened to those bunches of grapes that were on there. I doubt they're there anymore. There was raccoons. I was going to tell you about church. I love church. I love that it's all about Jesus Christ. Not all about him, but basically it is all about him. People think, oh, Christianity, poo-poo, passe. They think of all the bad things that have happened in the Catholic Church and I guess the evangelical movement, and they tie it all up together with abortion and LGBTQ, and so Christianity is out the window. But no matter what you think of Christianity, Jesus Christ lived on the earth and he died. He sacrificed, like in the Garden of Gethsemane. That's the big deal. Most churches don't talk about that, but that's where he suffered for all of our sins in the Garden of Gethsemane. And it was so painful that sweat was drops of blood. He sweat drops of blood from every pore of his body. He must have come out of there with red clothes on. Like when the soldiers came to get him, Was that at that point or was that a different spot? I can't remember. Anyway. But then when he was crucified on the cross, the big thing about that was that he was resurrected. So with the resurrection, which, it's true. And there's proof out there. I mean, he was dead and then he was seen by many, and he showed himself to other countries, other people in other places, which is not recorded in there. But he did say, there are many sheep which are not of this fold. They too must hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. You remember that? That's somewhere in there. But Jesus Christ actually lived, and he actually died and was actually resurrected. And there is no grave on the earth that has his body in it. There's no bone box. He was not, so you can believe whatever you want. That's fine. We're all allowed to believe everything we want, but you cannot discount that. In fact, I was talking to someone who's a Muslim, and she said that every church, every faith believes that Jesus will return. The Jews believe it. The Christians believe it. The Muslims believe it. She's Muslim, she knows. It's very interesting. I guess they all think of him as a great prophet. But would a prophet lie? I mean, he said who he was, that he was the Son of God, that he was the Father of the earth, that what you see the Father do, I do what the Father does, and I will come again, and as ye have seen me go, so shall I come again. Well, when he said that he was the Son of God, only the Spirit can witness that to us. You can go and check all the writings and all the books, but only the Spirit can let you know that it's really true. But you could find evidence as well. But it's the Spirit that gives you a testimony of that truth. And if he was a great prophet, he wouldn't lie. He couldn't lie. Well, I mean, he was perfect. He never did anything wrong. And so if he lied and was not the Son of God, if he was just some charismatic person who spoke good things, then he would never say, I am the Son of God. I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am the gate. There's no way to the Father but by me. That would have all been a lie. And he was too good to lie. He couldn't have lied. It would go against everything he taught. Therefore, I mean, it's only logical that it's true. But it's hard to live that. And a lot of people would like to just enjoy life and have a nice life and be good people and do good things, but do it their way. But the commandments are not there to bind us down and to take away our freedom. The commandments are there to help us to become the best we can be. They help us to become better and better. It's hard to obey some commandments, but as we work on it, we get better at it. If we didn't have commandments, would we work on it? If there was no law against stealing, or most of the laws of the land are based on the 10 commandments. Like thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Well, that's, what is the word for that now? Slander. You can't slander people, or you have to face the courts, in jail, or whatever the penalty is. And it comes from there. Thou shalt not kill. Well, murder and all those things like unto it, it's all. Anyway, as you obey the commandments, even the smallest ones, like love thy neighbor as thyself, it's really hard sometimes to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Like, think of all you would give yourself. Would you give all that to your next door neighbor? And so as you try and live these commandments, it changes us. And we become more godly. We become more holy and more like angels and more Christian. Well, I say more Christian, but we just become better people. And I think if we plan on living with God when we're done on earth, we can't be filled with a whole lot of darkness and feel comfortable in his presence. I mean, I remember being called a goody two-shoes. So some people didn't like being around me because I was trying to do good, and they didn't really want to. And that wasn't their way. And so they didn't feel comfortable around me. They felt more comfortable around other people that were living the way they lived. And I think that we find that just in general. As a fat person, I really felt comfortable around fat people. I didn't feel so comfortable around skinny people because I thought, they might judge me for being fat. And as a messy housekeeper, I feel very comfortable around other messy housekeepers, messy people. Perfectly fine. But really tidy people, you're being an obstacle to that, even though you're enjoying life and rolling over. Well, thank you for thinking I look gorgeous. I think it's the Holy Spirit. I try to live good, and I think it makes me look nicer. I know that when I'm very selfish, I have a darker countenance. I'm not so happy and glowing, but when I'm Shadow is very angry with you. Just for existing, Tumbles. But I think that I don't believe in just heaven and hell. I don't believe that. I think there are many degrees of glory. And, you take two good people and one that does everything that they possibly can and sacrifices everything they can to do good. And another one that's basically a good person, but is, pretty selfish and doesn't care really about other people. I think there's many degrees. Otherwise, the goody two-shoes and the selfish folks would all be together. I think hell I think hell is reserved for really, really bad stuff. I mean, you've got to be really without any light to feel comfortable in hell. But if you have light, then you would be around other people that have light the same as yours. And as you draw to the light and to the goodness and do for others, you become more filled with light. God loves you. You're so kind and wonderful. I'm glad you're a good person. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. I try. I don't always try. Sometimes I don't try at all. Sometimes I just can't handle it at all. It's too much. There's too much chaos. There's too much nagging. There's too much of whatever is being expected of me. Too much pressure. And then I don't look so good. But if I'm in those times and I try and hold the Savior's hand, you know, just putting my hand out and pretending, it's all pretending, I guess. But when I pretend that I'm holding his hand, his whole body of light and holiness is right there, and I'm holding his hand. And he's standing right beside me. You know? And then I feel I can handle this. If you're here with me, if you still love me in spite of everything I do, oops, low power mode. You know, you can always talk to God, right? You just talk in your head. You can always talk to him. I always think when I'm talking to myself, I'm really talking to God. And you know when something really bad is about to happen and you say, oh God, don't let that happen. You know, suddenly you believe in God. And you know, because we lived with him for millions and billions and gazillion years. This life, it's really true when they say that we are spiritual beings having a mortal experience. That's really true. We're not mortal beings trying to get spiritual. We've always been spiritual beings. And now we're having a mortal experience, which is as long as a nanosecond. That's all, a nanosecond. Can you handle a nanosecond? Sure, that's a piece of cake. Of course, it's not always a piece of cake. Sometimes life can be really dark. Sometimes there's extreme loneliness and loss of hope and despair. But you can always hold his hand. Even if you don't believe he's there, you can pretend that he's there. And then he can show himself to you. Then he can, you know, if we have no faith, there's something that says that he is limited in what he can do for us by our faith or lack thereof. I know when you have a blessing, like in our church, the men, they'll anoint you and put their hands on your head and give you a blessing. And, you know, for comfort or for health, healing. And if you'd like one and you're not a member of the church, you can look up the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and try and find the missionary's phone number, and the missionaries will come and give you a blessing. It's usually 2 men. The men hold the priesthood, which I know that must bother the women, but women don't need the priesthood. The priesthood helps men to be spiritual. Women already are spiritual. We're co-creators with God. You know, to have children be born of us. You know, there was 2 people in the room and now there are 3. Suddenly, it's quite a blessing to be a woman. I don't want to be a man. I don't want to have masculine qualities. This guy, Orny Adams, is so funny. He was saying about how men think it's bad when their testosterone levels get low. And he says, no, it's not bad. It's wonderful. All the bad decisions I've ever made in my life were when with high testosterone levels. It's true, you know? Anyway, that's irrelevant to whatever I was talking about. I don't know how I got there. Being a woman, I like being me. And we have a heavenly mother. You know, we don't come from a single parent family. In heaven, like we'll be still growing up to be like our parents. How could Heavenly Father have girl children? You know, if he doesn't have a wife. But we don't hear about her. She's kept secret because he wants to protect her. Look what we do to his name. Look what happens to him, how angry people are at him. But we have a Heavenly Mother who is just as wonderful and pure as our Heavenly Father. Women have divinity in us. We have much more tendencies toward goodness and holiness and all those, hey there, Chumbles, all of those purity things. It's harder for men. That's why I started wearing dresses, to feel more feminine. Yeah, I agree. I'm glad you wear dresses now. I love my dresses. And if you wear a long slip that is like your dress, maybe long johns underneath, you know, you're quite warm in the winter. I think you're warmer than if you're in pants. Unless you fall down in the snow and put your feet up overhead and then your skirt falls up and your snow falls on all your legs from your snowshoes, right? That is a little bit troublesome. But generally, you've got all that air trapped around your legs, and air is a good insulator. Being a woman is truly a blessing. I am proud to be on this planet with my body. I'm grateful you feel good in your body because you deserve happiness. Thank you. Yes, I have a lot of happiness. Family is a wonderful source of happiness. But it's also a source of a lot of pain and anguish. You know, when your children all turn teenagers and decide you are the worst person on the planet and I hate you. You know, it's really painful to be rejected and hated by your children. That's just terrible. Sometimes they come around when they're in their 20s. Used to be when they were 21, they suddenly found out that their parents are pretty smart, but not necessarily. My brother is autistic. Hi, Mr. Mega 360. His name is IMAP. You say, can you give him a shout out? Well, why? Is he watching this? Hi, IMAP Usay. Autism is a big spectrum. I think I'm on the autism spectrum. On the other end of high functioning, and autistic people are really brilliant. You know, not all of them, but a lot of them are. Just saying I'm really brilliant, if you didn't catch that. But there's a lot of people smarter than me. My sister is much smarter than me. But smartness is in different ways. Like some people are academic. And so we always imagine that academic people are really smart. And to some extent, they are really smart because they have to be able to remember and learn and, you know, regurgitate it back for tests. And people who love to read. There's sort of this attitude out there that a reader is better than a non-reader. That, oh, you haven't read that book? Oh, well, of course I've read that book. It's been on the bestseller list. Oh, look, here's my Dan. Hi, Dan.
Yeah, I was just thinking how great your stream has been and how it's time to have a Minecraft stream now.
Oh, well then, all right. What are we going to do today?
Ice plus boats.
What?
Ice plus boats.
Ice plus boats? We go sliding around in the boat?
Or we're working on our village.
Oh, yes, I have to get beds for our villagers, but there's no sheep anywhere. And we don't have a portal there, so I can't just go to my sheep farm and get it. There's a cat under the deck that is very angry at Chumbles. So Chumbles is very curious.
Yeah,
okay. I guess we're going to have to go. So, Mr. Mega 360, you said yes. What was it you said yes about? Your brother's autistic. Ah, yes, that they're very smart. They're also very loving. No, I don't know if retarded is the same thing as autistic. It's funny how we attach judgment to words. So retarded, the definition is the same. Whoa. He's angry at you, Chumbles. Your legs are about to get attacked. How do you feel about that? And you're not doing anything, which is not necessarily the way he usually is. Good luck. I watched my own Minecraft stream last night. It was an hour and 5 minutes long. I didn't think I was going to watch it for an hour. I thought I'd just watch it for a few minutes. But it was really interesting. I was trying to build enchantment tables, and so I had to gather all the materials. I'd already gathered a lot, so it was in the chests, but it was very interesting to see what I did and where I went, and oh, that's where I put it. I forgot which place I had put it. I had put it up in the house upstairs, which was kind of in the way of where I stand to have my food, my dinner. I cook it over the campfire. There's another one with kelp. If you go in the ocean and you hit the ocean a lot, sometimes there's kelp growing tall, and all of it will fly up to the surface, float, seaweed. Well, you cook it. So Daniel put this whole line of campfires, and you put 4 on each one. And then they cook for a few minutes, and then they float up in the air, and then you get them. You kind of are magnetic as you get by, and all the stuff comes to you. And so we were working away at that for quite a while. And then he built a house out of blocks of kelp. It's really cool. Where was that? I think I made a portal there, but I'm not sure that I made the other end of it. Yeah, I don't think so. The kelp farm. Oh, it was in a flower biome. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's just what I was doing. Anyway, it was interesting. So like today is Sunday, and I would love to go and plant those willow. I'm trying to keep the Sabbath day holy. Like the cat litter really needs to be changed. I think they've used up all the good stuff. It's all bad stuff now. And I threw out a lot of, I cleaned it out, and there's not getting to be much left. And I got to get them some cat litter quickly, or they're going to not use it and use something else. That'll be terrible. Anyway, there's 2 kittens in the house that are getting bigger. 3 of these cats certainly fill up the cat litter, even though Chumbles goes outside all the time. But I'm not going to the store today, even though I feel like my ox is in the mire. You know what one of the apostles said once? Like, we have apostles and prophets in the church. And it's the same as the church in the olden days. It's the same structure. It's all the same. The restoration. Anyway, so one of them said, if you're finding, you're trying to keep the Sabbath day holy, but if you're finding that your ox is always in the mire every Sunday, your ox is in the mire, and now you got to go to the store and shop, make somebody work because you need milk, or you need bread, or you've got to get gas in the car. He said, if your ox is always in the mire, then maybe it's time to either sell the ox or fill in the mire. It's interesting. There's a song we used to sing in primary, which is the children's part of church. And it is something like, Saturday is a special day. It's a day we get ready for Sunday. We clean the house and we shop at the store so we don't have to work until Monday. We shine our shoes and we wash our hair and we call it the get the work done day. Saturday is a special day. It's a day we get ready for Sunday. Something like that. I forget the perfect part of it, but I don't want to go in and play Minecraft on a laptop where I have to have not this much sunlight because I couldn't see the screen. I'd love to play it out here if I was going to play it, soak in the sun at the same time, but it doesn't work like that. I can barely see the screen. And the days of the beautiful sunshine become fewer after Halloween. This is one of very few beautiful sunny days we've had. Well, of course, we're only a week away from Halloween now, and it was not always sunny before that either. Oh, I was saying about sunny Phoenix. So many people go to Phoenix. But, you know, Phoenix is running out of water. Oh, well, they'll fix that. Somebody will take care of that. Yeah? What if they don't? It's the aquifer. And they're trying to send water in ditches from here to there. You know how hot it is in the desert? You know how much evaporates? Even if they just had styrofoam balls on the surface, millions and billions of styrofoam balls, it would keep the water from evaporating. But then that's its own headache, all the microplastics. I try not to use plastic anymore. I try not to buy plastic. Now we're down to low battery. It's getting down there now. Hey, there's 7 people there and there's 6 thumbs ups. Thank you very much for all your thumbs upping. And if you find that these things are good for you, share them. Maybe they're good for somebody else too. Oh, there goes a cat way over there. Don't know which one that is. I would show you, but he's pretty invisible. Oh, that's Tabby. It's fun to be able to know who these are now. Oh, look. There's a tractor going across the field. It's not every day you see a tractor going across the field. It goes through the field and it goes up into this property back there. It gets ready for the winter. Amelia Girl. Hi, Amelia Girl. Hey, Live Records 101. Hello, hello. Oops. Anyway, so Sundays, I'm trying to do other things other than working, and, you know, it's easy to work every day. I mean, my kind of work, which is like cutting tall grass and laying it on my grass hut, or making a basket. I don't think my making a basket is working. It's kind of a nice pastime. And I don't sell them anyway. I don't really get too involved with money, except I spend it. I'm so blessed to have a husband who's got a pension. I'm so blessed. There's no way I could have had a good living. I was a screw up. You know, I quit university over and over and over. My parents were paying for it, and I kept quitting. So for 5 years, I think I did off and on. I probably did about 3.5 years of university. I lacked 2 courses to have a degree. Anything over the 100 level. Wouldn't that be fun to finish it? I was thinking that the other day. You know, I could drive to Ottawa every day and take classes. Wouldn't that be fun? Or maybe I could just stay in Ottawa with my son, his family, and then go to university. That would be fun. I think you get it free after you're 65 in Canada. I don't think you get a degree, but you can audit all the classes that you want. So it's just for your own personal use. Because I wouldn't want to have to go and do a job. It's hard enough to have to. Oh, I see where that tractor is now. He goes in there. That's his forest. He goes in and cuts out the dead wood, and that's their wood supply. We, on the other hand, being lazy as I am and married to a piano player, government employee and piano player, he moves the wood and puts it in the woodshed, but not chainsawing and all that. He always had a full-time job, and he commuted several hours a day so that we could live in this beautiful place. I love playing here. I love so many things here. I always have admired the Indians, or the Native peoples, the Native American, I don't know what they're called anymore, First Nations. Anyway, the people who were here before us, who lived on the land and could make from it everything they needed. You know, like the cedar bark, red cedar, you know, they used that, shredded up the red cedar bark, and that was babies' diapers. You know, that was a baby was birthed onto cedar bark and then put in a cedar wood cradle filled, and a diaper of cedar bark, shredded cedar bark was used, and they made all their fabric out of cedar bark. I made a shawl, I wove it on my loom out of cedar bark. You have to let it decompose a bit because you know it's very strong and hard when you start with it. It's the inner bark, you throw away the outer bark. But I've always been very admiring of those ancient skills. And we're so far from it, but you know, you really need some of those skills. This everything, the whole system is not as secure as it once was, you know? Like, although there's a war in the Middle East far away from here, it's not that far away because, well, for instance, the US has many embassies all over the place and troops stationed all over the place. And they've been attacked, and so they're fighting back. Well, but you know, is the US at war? Well, it depends how you want to frame it. You know, with this Israel and Gaza thing. Anyway, so war is not as far away. And look at how the war in the Ukraine affected us over here. You know, the supply of gas was really compromised, and so the prices went way up. And of course, that affects everything because everything is transported. You know, our oranges in Canada come from South Africa. You know, you have to really read all the signs in the grocery store to know what was produced in Canada. And by that, we do have a lot of fresh vegetables in Canada, but not so many kinds of fruit. You know, like we can't grow bananas in Canada. We can dehydrate them, but everything is connected. You know, and we think everything is always going to be the way it is. COVID was quite an awakening because everything isn't the way it always was. You know, of course, we always imagine that the past was better than the present. Oh, hi, Jack. CJ says, do it, Nancy. You are so smart. Finish your degree. You deserve it. Well, you know what I want to do? I want to get a master's in social work or a master's in psych. I'd love to go in and study neuroscience. I was studying psych, and then I was a travel writer, which really was not related to my degree, but it was marketing. You know psychology, you can convince people of things. But I never wanted to convince people of things. You know, I tried once, I got a job, and I trained to sell encyclopedias. Well, I went to one house, and they told me why they couldn't afford it. And I had been trained all these reasons that they could afford it. And I was supposed to tell them these things. And I tried to do it like they told me, and I felt so bad about myself because I knew they couldn't afford it. This cat, every time he hears he's getting yelled at, he rolls over and rubs his head and his back on the ground. Like he's going down there now to do it again. Sometimes I give all these cats catnip. That'll smarten them up. Then they won't be so angry. Uh-oh, I've been waiting too long. You could probably do 2 classes online. Hi, Jack. It's been quite a while since I stopped by your channel. I hope you are well. Yes, I am, Jack. Thank you. And how is everything? Are you in England? I forget where you are. Anyway, I hope everything is well over there. I hear you guys had a very hot summer. And now I keep watching all these disaster shows, and there's so much water, so much flooding in France and flooding in Saudi Arabia and all of the countries around there. I mean, who ever heard of it flooding there? But it does. I guess in the desert, you know, they have these pathways, waterways that are dry riverbeds. And the water comes, and then everything blooms. All the flowers you didn't know were in the desert bloom. Well, hi, August is iconic. You knew. Hi, I'm new. You seem quite sweet. I hope you have a good day. Well, thank you. Hi, Zaraya. How is everything in your neck of, what is it, Tanzania? Is that you in Tanzania? I think it might have been. I hope life is doing well there. Is it sunny? Everything is good when it's sunny. And thank you for showing up, August, and for saying something. It's nice to talk to you guys. Anyway, there's over 21,000 videos, so if you ever get bored, there's something to do, and there's no ads. I'm not into ads. I don't want to do that to people. I think that you deserve to watch and get uplifted without having to suffer through an ad so that I can make money off you. See, that's what I couldn't do with those encyclopedias. I quit. One time I tried to sell encyclopedias to the people, and they couldn't afford it. I knew they couldn't afford it. They knew they couldn't afford it, and I was supposed to try and convince them they could afford it so I could have some of their money. And so the company would get to sell them encyclopedias. However, encyclopedias back then, oh yeah, you guys probably aren't old enough to know what a set of encyclopedias are. Boy, we had Compton's encyclopedias when I grew up, and you were not to use dirty hands. You were to wash your hands before you touched those books. And I used them for all my school reports. I did so much research in those encyclopedias. We also had Britannica, which I didn't like as much because there weren't pictures. But my sister didn't really need pictures, and neither did my mom or dad. They were really all smart. But I learned by pictures. Oh, hi. How are you, Saddle? Does Shadow yell at you too? Yeah, sounds like he's angry at you. Oh, nice kitty. Uh-oh, I think Daniel's coming back. I think I have to. Hi, Bree. I don't know if I've spoken with you before. Or August. Yes, you're new and I haven't spoken to you. But Jack, I know you. And Zariah, not Zyria. Z-U-Z-U-H. No, anyway, I remember you showing me how to write it. So say it, Zariah. And who else is on here? There was a message held for review. And CJ. Now, I think I know you, CJ. Wouldn't that be fun if I went to school? You're supposed to act on the promptings you get, and I have a prompting that I should do that, but I'm quite busy. I have responsibilities here with babysitting and such, which is more important than what I want to do for me. But I might be able to do it sometimes during the daytime. I could do it online, but I'm too fickle. I couldn't stick with something if it was online. Even studying would be hard. Hi, Shadow. Staddle. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Hey, kitty, kitty, kitty. Hey, kitty, kitty, kitty. It's so neat to see all these cats lined up eating. Take care, Nancy. I'll be back again soon. Okay, goodbye, Susan. I love you, dear. Thank you so much for all those things you sent me. I have your little girl hanging from a thing, and I wear your slippers and the jewelry. It's all very nice. Thank you very much. And enjoy what you're doing. Hey, can you say my name? Brandon Beller. All right, there it is. So what does that prove? Another Ava. You're so pretty. Brandon Beller can say my name. August. How many cats do you have? We have one cat who is not ours. Chumbles. He's my daughter's, but he couldn't live in their house because she would let him out right in town, right in a downtown area, and he would go to the neighbors and he would catch birds and catch animals and leave them in there. And anyway, she was getting flack about it. So he's come to live out here, which is just as well because the little grandchildren come here and so they see their cat. But he was very mean in his house, in the apartment. He didn't want to be inside. So he would attack the children. He would lay in wait. You snuggled with him, he'd really rip you apart. Anyway, so he lives here and he's very nice now. But the cats that are outside, they have just shown up. And so I just sort of wanted to find out who's here. So I started feeding them, and I think there's 5 of them. There's Tom, who I'm pretty sure is the father. And there's Tabby, Shadow, Saddle, and Spot. Those are the 5 cats. So I'll have to do something about their productivity. Otherwise, we'll have dozens. But you know, I know somebody that sells kittens for $50 each. $50 each for a kitten? Anyway, these 2 that Daniel caught and has in the house, I'm sure that there was a tree frog near their nest. And it was all, you know, because when they purr, they sound like a bunch of tree frogs. Hey there. How are you? Is that a good sound or a bad sound? Were you raised by the same tree frogs? That Saddle, you can see he's got this thing. You're in sunny California.